With his gallant gesture, Gulliver had won the hearts of the people. The little people of Lilliput were keen to repay Gulliver for his kindness, and one hot day, when Gulliver was relaxing on the beach, they were able to do this. Gulliver was sitting looking out to sea and thinking of home, when a sudden breeze blew his hat off and whisked it into the sea. "That's my lucky hat!" shouted Gulliver. "If I don't get it back, my good luck will run out." A group of little fishermen who were standing nearby heard Gulliver's plea and soon thought of a clever way of rescuing Gulliver's hat. They swam out to sea, attached string to the hat, and used tiny horses to drag it back to the shore. Moving a big hat like this was not an easy task for the horses, but they managed to swim back to the shore with it. When they got the hat back onto the shore, the fishermen all stood around huffing and puffing as Gulliver ran across the beach to pick up his hat. "Thank you," he said, "for returning my lucky hat," and he put it firmly back on his head. Several days later, Gulliver was relaxing on the beach again, when suddenly he heard a lot of shouting coming from the sea. "What's all the noise about?" asked Gulliver, as he looked round and saw the Emperor and all the people of Lilliput looking anxiously out to sea.
"The Emperor of Blefuscu has sent his fleet to attack Lilliput," shouted the Emperor. "Please, can you help us to drive them away, Gulliver?"
Gulliver sat with his head in his hands for a few moments while he tried to think of the best possible plan to help his little friends. Suddenly he leapt up and shouted, "I know how to get rid of our enemies!" He took a large hook and attached it to a long piece of rope. Then he waded into the sea and attached a piece of string to the bow of each ship.
"It's a giant! It's a giant!"
shouted the enemy, and they all swam back to their shores. Gulliver then attached all the strings to his hook and pulled the boats into Lilliput. Everyone clapped and cheered.
"To repay you for returning peace to our land, we would like you to be guest of honor at the biggest banquet that Lilliput has ever thrown," proclaimed the Emperor.
On the day of the banquet, the Emperor commanded that several ladders should be set up in front of Gulliver. The ladders allowed the Lilliputians to carry food to him, and the food was certainly amazing. There were legs and shoulders of mutton that were smaller than the wings of a bird, pigs tinier than Gulliver's fingernail, and whole fruit smaller than an orange pip. Although the portions were small, there was more than enough for him to eat. There was plenty of drink for him too, but the beer was served in such tiny glasses that Gulliver needed to drink several barrels at a time to quench his thirst. By the end of the meal, Gulliver was so full that he could hardly move. He turned to the Emperor and said, "That was the best meal I have ever tasted in my life. Thank you so much." Gulliver felt that he needed a little exercise after his feasting, so he wandered off to the beach for a little walk. As Lilliput was such a small place, he only had to walk a few paces to get to the beach. He began to stroll up and down, and when he looked out to sea, he saw, to his amazement, a large upturned shape floating in the water. "That's certainly not a hat," he said to himself. "In fact, that looks like a little boat. If only I could get it to the shore, I might be able to sail back to my own country in it." Gulliver wanted to swim out to sea straight away to have a closer look.
"It's not a good idea to swim straight after you have eaten. Leave the boat until morning. It's stuck on a rock anyway,"
said one of the fishermen. So Gulliver took his advice and waited. In the morning, all the little people of Lilliput gathered on the beach and put their fleet of ships to sea to help Gulliver drag the boat back to shore. When they had the boat back on the shore, the Lilliputians set up a system of ladders and pulleys so they could reach the boat. Then they set to work to make it seaworthy again.
"Pass us the
They all pulled together. Some did the painting, while others mended the holes in the wood with their miniature hammers and nails.
Over here! We'll soon have this boat built for you, Gulliver. Never you fear.
They worked for days and days, until the boat was finished and looking good. At last, I'll be able to sail back to my own country and see all my old friends again, said Gulliver.
We'll be sad to see you go,
cried all his little helpers. Later that day, Gulliver put to sea and waved a sad goodbye to the Emperor and his subjects. This has been the most exciting adventure I've ever had, he called. But it is a long time since I saw my home, and I must return. But do not worry, I will not tell anyone the name of your land, so you will never be invaded by giants like me.
Goodbye! Goodbye, Gulliver! Come back and see us again!
And with a final wave, he sailed away.